Oh, how does this work? Is it is it doing something? I'm trapped in this box. I got a face cam working. Yo, this is huge. The hood advancements department's gonna love this one. Now, with that being said, I've been asked to do another geology project, um, which I will promptly be doing with this new setup here. If you like it and you want to see more videos with it, not that I upload often anyway, but in the case that I do upload, if you want to see me and you want to see my face, you know, with the actual words, 'cause I feel like it can make a big difference if you actually see me like moving with my words. Like it would make sense as to like what I'm saying. And besides that, you can see my messy. This thing's a fucking train wreck. I need to cool my room, but get around to it eventually. So, with that being said, welcome to part 2 of Geology Projects. I'm your host, Quinn, and I will be discussing? Yep, that's exactly what I meant to say. I'll be discussing 5 geological. Wow, holy. I'm getting nervous being in front of the camera. I'll be discussing 5 geological mysteries that scientists cannot prove. Something like that. I'm making this sound like a most amazing top 10 video. What was that one, like the British girl, the one host? This is gonna be a lot of filler for like the first minute. It's just cool. Like I can see myself. You know what I mean? I feel like stupid when I record, so I'm gonna get to see it. Play back the footage. All that junk. But that's cool. But like, I look, isn't this cool? All right. I decided to move. I moved myself to the other monitor, so I can kind of look between you guys and myself. Um, So that's going to be the setup for the video. Before I get into the 5 geological mysteries, I do want to give an honorable mention to the Palouse region of eastern Washington and western Idaho, which covers most of, well, that covers a lot of land. Eastern Washington, western Idaho, parts of Oregon, covered parts of the Oregon Trail. Um, and it's home to 2 land grant universities in Washington State and the University of Idaho. It formed because of volcanic eruptions around 6 to 17 million years ago, which laid down a lot of thick basalt bedrock. And during the last ice age, I'm like reading it off the other screens. During the last ice age, the glaciers ground the rock into fine silt, which was transported by the Missoula floods and deposited as sediment. So it's not really like a mystery, so to speak, but not a lot of people know about the Palouse region, and I feel like I needed to shine a spotlight on it because if you've never seen pictures of it before, I highly recommend looking at it because it's a really like naturally beautiful place, and not a lot of people seem to discuss it when discussing geological like events in history. So that's as good as it's gonna get. Wait, so, for the 5 geological mysteries, I'll be using Mental Floss's article about 7 mysterious geological formations that still baffle scientists um, as my kind of source. If there's anything I need to add on, or if you guys want to see something else similar to this, I'm not like smart. I'm not really here to educate people, but if you like my commentary, I'm happy to like do it, I guess. So, which gets into my first of 5 geological mysteries, the Eye of the Sahara, formed about 100 million years ago. It's a 28-mile wide site of big concretic circles found in the West African nation of, I'm going to butcher this, Mauritania? No, that sounds right. Mauritania, yeah. Originally, geologists thought the site was formed by an asteroid impact, which I can't blame them. It's very circular and has the makings of a geological, like, asteroid it, this happens more often than we think when I record videos. Like I just start stuttering. It's not not good. Not good. It has the makings of an asteroid impact, but there's not enough melted rock around the rings. There's not enough melted rock around the rings to support the theory, and similarly, there's no evidence to suggest a volcanic eruption. So, how could possibly, in the middle of a desert, a 28-mile wide big eye circular formation exist with no volcanoes and no asteroid impacts? The scientists have proposed more recently that the Eye of the Sahara could be a collapsed geological dome formed about, again, 100 million years ago when the supercontinent of Pangaea broke up. And the thing to uphold this theory is that there's ancient rocks found beneath the surface, some of which are as far as 125 miles beneath the Earth's crust and existed before life itself on Earth. Second geological mystery, shout out to Archie for this one, Lake Hillier in Australia. We were just having a discussion about Western Australia last night, and this was a common thing image that came up. So Archie, if you're watching this, shout out to you. So Lake Hillier is a small saltwater lake off of Western Australia, and it's only a third of a mile long. But the thing that makes it stand out is that it's pink. It's naturally pink, and nobody seems to know why. The lake was first documented in 1802 by British explorer Matthew Flinders. Matthew Flinders, yes. Took a sample of its waters, but failed to understand how it got its pink color, so to speak. It's only accessible via helicopter because there's not a lot of paved roads in Western Australia anyway. But especially Lake Hillier, super isolated, although it is safe to swim in the waters. So if you're ever curious, it is safe to swim in the waters. Nobody seems to know when the lake was formed, although there is a few theories that suggest there's pink micro life existing in abundance in the lake, which it's not harmful to human life, but it also doesn't fluctuate with temperature or season. It remains pink year round, and scientists still don't know why, so they're currently looking into it as we speak. The third one actually shut out to me, the Great Unconformity in the Grand Canyon. This is probably one that a lot of you are familiar with if you study geology or if you're familiar with geology. This one's very hard to miss. There's a group of explorers that went and explored the surrounding areas of the Grand Canyon in the 1800s and found that, in a certain part of the Grand Canyon, there were rock records from 1.2 billion to 250 million years ago, completely. So if you're not familiar with how geology works, there's rock layers stacked on top of each other. That's kind of how the Grand Canyon formed. The oldest layers are at the bottom, and then eventually sediments and all that are deposited, and they harden over time to create new rock, and they create rock layers. And each layer consists of a different type of rock, depending on what Earth was like during a certain point in its lifetime. So from 1.2 billion to 250 million years ago, there was no rock at all being deposited onto the layers of the Grand Canyon. So you're missing about a billion years, or 1/4 of Earth's entire, almost a fifth, but for sport, let's call it a fourth of Earth's entire life, completely missing from the rock record in the Grand Canyon. And if you look at it, and if you know what you're looking at, you can clearly see, the it's just gone. Stratigraphy don't make no sense. And I'm going to quote directly from the article here. Geologists studying the anomaly have noticed that there is plenty of rock full of fossils from the Cambrian period about 540 million years ago, but the rock layer beneath it is basement rock formed roughly a billion years ago and empty of fossils. So you might be asking yourself, well, what happened to the stuff in between? There's an emerging theory called snowball Earth, which may explain where the rock went. About 700 million years ago, Earth was encased in snow and ice. Like it was just, as the theory suggests, it was just totally like a snowball. And moving glaciers and all that, it peeled off a lot of the planet's crust, which, you can probably get where I'm going with this. It peeled off a lot of the rock layers, and there couldn't really be like any sediments deposited because the whole planet was just covered in snow. So that could explain it, because the snowball period, it lines up with the dates that the rock records are missing, roughly, so to speak. Because there is, again, fossils from the Cambrian period, but there's an entire, period of Earth's history missing. So it might be safe to assume that a glacier moved through the canyon at some point and completely removed the rock layers, but that theory is still being investigated, and you cannot, it's not reliable yet. Theory number 4, the Nastapoka Arc in Hudson Bay, Canada. Now, northern Canada it's an area that I love personally because there's a lot of mystery and a lot of like world phenomena that goes on up there. Especially with like Ellesmere Island and how cold it is up there, and how like how does civilization function up there. Um, it makes for a very interesting, you know, set of anomalies that you could look into, and one of those happens to be the Nastapoka Arc. It is located in the southeast corner of Hudson Bay, and it lies in a near perfect arc. Um, so just a big half circle, you know, right off the coast of Hudson Bay. And for a while, scientists thought it would be because of an asteroid impact, but there was not enough melted rock surrounding the impact site to support this theory. So, there's no conforming evidence to support that there was ever an asteroid impact there. Um, there's one commonly accepted theory for this little phenomenon here, is that there was one piece of shelf rock that was pushed underneath another, which still wouldn't really explain how it got to be so perfectly round, but there's no better theory out at the moment. So for now, we're just gonna have to live with the shelf rock theory. Although, again, who actually knows um what is going on here? And number five, shout out to Jim for this one too. There's like a lot of geological phenomena around you guys. I know you're watching this, Jim, so shout out to you. Number five, the Mima Mounds in Olympia, Washington. I see a word in the sentence, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, so don't judge me if I just end up butchering this. The Mima Mounds are mysterious, uniform undulations in the grasslands of Washington state near Olympia, ranging from 10 to 164 feet in diameter and up to 6.5 feet tall. When American explorer Charles Wilkes set eyes on them in 1841, he believed they were human made burial mounds and had three of them excavated, only to find out that they were filled with loose stones. Um, and similar mounds are found from California to Colorado and have been a subject of mystery in the geology community for years on end now. Evidence points to the mounds being formed around 30,000 years ago, which makes studying them kind of hard because humans were already believed to live in North America at the time. So there's a good possibility that these were man made by like very old like Indian civilizations. There's a lot of other theories about their formation, including like glacial flooding, whirlpools, and wind blowing sediment that have been completely dismissed. The current leading theory for this whole thing is that pocket gophers created the mounds. While no human has ever witnessed a pocket gopher building one, there's no better theory out there to disprove it, so to speak. Um, because they were filled with loose stones, if you could like recall correctly. It wasn't just like sediment and random stuff building up over time. Like these were mounds just completely filled with loose stones. So there's a good chance that there was something like of intelligence that was in the region at some point and built them, but you can't say for sure because it's definitely, odd. Well, no doubt it's odd. Like I'm making a video about geological, like what? Anyway, that's just five, or for the record, um, six geological mysteries that still confuse people to this day. Well, not that the Palouse region's necessarily a mystery, but it's just one that I don't feel like a lot of people know about, so I need to shed some light on it. But if you enjoyed the new setup, make sure to let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, drop a like. If you didn't like it, drop a dislike. Um, if you're new here, I don't upload, so don't subscribe. Um, that's about it, really. So cool that like I can build a little flex. Sliding's trash. Wait, what if I open my window? Like, should I get some light on? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh. Should I stop? Oh wait, I kinda wait. Oh, but you can see my red highlights. Dude. Half this video is just gonna be fucking about the webcam. Look at this. Oh dude. Look at my phone is vibrating. The phone is some crazy loud noise. Alright. I'm gonna end the video here, but will you I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys for stopping by. It's Min Quinn. um your local geologist now, apparently. And, till next time, deuces.